Rodney Kavetsky opens a whole new and legionary doorway to the universe never before read about or revealed to us as a species and acknowledgers of the universe's realm. For instance, what curves space? Isn't it the curvature of the space field that the motion and velocity of orbiting planetary bodies' speeds are calibrated by? How really old is the universe, and why is it expanding? All these questions and more will be answered in the future of this author's new upcoming books and literature. And finally, why so much is revealed to us about a universe that it all has such a slow cosmological speed limit as the speed of light, and why is the velocity of light made astronomers' time travel into the past or future ending, and or why doesn't it? A lot of contradiction has been placed on efficient about gravitation now that it has been revealed as a repulsive force and not the adversity of attraction. Since first light of the universe's creation, it was the energy of the white silk worm that played into the creation of the planetary matter masses. Buried in the scope is the indifferent quantities of m plus meter plus m squared in the Newtonian laws that tells us how matter without energy is dormant of the weak force that the gravity force governs by amongst the other three forces of nature. It can only be realized now that a repulsive push force acts as the primary force for gravitation in a closed body such as our own planet Earth that physically connects electromagnetism with the gravity force. And its principles, the advanced singularity, can define how they are bound by it. Inside of an expanding universe, without energy, matter is shapeless and without refusion until its growing drive and energy caused it to collapse against its space field predecessor, infinite space. Matter had no place to go or expand, only the toll it engraved by its magnificent storm. In the final finale, the universe recoiled everything known to it into a single boiling, levitating body where all the loose ends of a new quality of mass and energy were created. The final results are what we observe today. In the Bible quotes a verse about men who were earth visitors in biblical times and reads, and they stood 10 feet tall. Different from the ordinary person, a planet far off away from Earth and space ornament in a universe where all its galaxies parade expanding outwards in all directions, we look at the indifferent in the same way we observe them, not of any specific weight. In a subtle ground surface obstructed from being in universal motion, but in a space which everything, no matter its size or its mass, small or large, all hinder the same continuity. It is only that when our universe and everything in it, meaning all matter existing in constant motion, whereas nothing is at rest anywhere. Because of this matter, mass, and even their energies, until reality is subtle and is at rest, does it maintain any type of actual independent weight. All objects in the freedom of a fall and not attached with anything else is in orbit rational motion and is driven by the same force and at the same rate of speed. The orbital axis of the universe is the only perpetual driven force that pushes everything outside the expansion of space equally in motion. Though these observations are made using the same analogy as Isaac Newton's law of gravitation, it has been challenged by Albert Einstein's description in relativity gravity. Because relativity theory asserts the fabric of space as a form of gravity, Newton's perception never became universal. No one until now has been able to describe gravity in space. Pursued Isaac Newton's Principia on gravitation. Over the centuries of Isaac Newton's theories made in 1667 to Albert Einstein's theories in 1905 and 1915, classical physics has never been updated with the times. When Einstein ventured into modern physics, his formulas were easier to understand because they represented the modern time of the decade. Taking into consideration the three principles of the standard theories about our universe, gravitation described by relativity theory has been labeled incomplete.
Neither and in both cases, gravitation, whether it's a fabric of the space or according to Newton, it's what keeps all attractions of celestial bodies. Space stretches and is flexible. We look at a system of stars like our own solar system and discover the planets orbit a dominion star we call the Sun. The reason because it is the bigger greater star. It has a mass 1,000 times greater than all the others put together. But space being what it is stretches like a trampoline slightly curving in the center because of the greater star our sun. Because similar masses repel due to similar energies, they are stopped from colliding inwards to the sun and rejected from being allowed to attract towards it. The smaller planet masses rejected because of similar energy are repelled where they sit put into spin by the greater energy planetary mass. The smaller masses, the Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, and the like are pushed away as they are physically caught in a free fall continuum falling towards the sun. These smaller planets are pushed away and are physically pushed at a specific angle degree and reside tilted as they are embedded and pushed in the space fabric, continually being pushed away, while continually falling towards the sun seems to be the standard model. It is not energy from the space fabric that causes these events of the planet's angular degree of a tilt of the planet, but that it is caught in a pushing magnitude and because they are oval shape, and that the magnitude of the center body system is so great the system of planets orbiting the sun are pushed at a great velocity on a round cone space of the fabric that they orbit in the circle formed and shaped by the sun's massive size, keeping them from being pushed off the grid. Since the flexibility of the fabric surface shaped by the sun is only observed at the physical presentation of the planet in their orbit, their elliptical paths. Each of the 9 planets in our solar system follow the same elliptical curvature impressed by the sun's greater multiple of repulsive energy passing around the sun, is seen as a steady-state elliptical path. The elliptical curvature of a celestial is a constant state of push and play motion between the sun, the planet, and it being pushed into the space grid to stay. Since it is the strength of the Dominion star, our sun, and its massive energy that promotes this event, not space, the orbital alignment is equally proportionate, and the satellite planet's orbit is what we observe as a straight line across from the sun. It should also be noted that a planet need not to be an energetic star to stretch and curve space. Since we observe the interaction between the sun and our own planet, a push and pull energetic system of motion, we should also observe the fact that matter is massless as it were, since if such repulsion between the stars did not occur or the sun should die, the Earth would raise up and roll across the grid.
We can also look at the galaxies about the universe in the same manner, the different masses arcing the others. The push and play in physics, where the indifference of one player keeps all the others from mobile chaos. This mobility of push and play may be what keeps the whole universe in push and play motion in the structure of mobility. If, for instance, our own sun was to blacken out, not only would it take 8 minutes for us to realize it, but the lost energy in an orderly solar system would become raged into physical mobile chaos. The satellite planets would no longer have the sun's energy to keep them embayed in the fabric of the space, and it would call them to rise. Instead of the space grid being curved at the center, it would have called to rise, also creating a straight line. This would allow the smaller satellite planets to marble outwards and in all directions throughout the system of space until they settled somewhere else, and by what price of damage would this be done? As a whole, the galaxies lay dormant as singularities throughout the universe, embedded in and cushioned by the space fabric they to redesign the space grid into a cone-like shape. Observations on the multitude of galaxies show how this coning of the space grid between multitudes makes space travel look like one is traveling up one side of the galactic grid up and away from the galaxy, and how finally reaching the top of it means viewing the secondary galaxy as a distortion of great light seen passing over the mountaintop, then traveling towards that light distortion far away, making our way into clarity. This is no common observation about the universe you might have read about somewhere in some book or magazine. This observation is new to modern physics, but explains in it the miscarriage of an incomplete theory about gravitation that of both Albert Einstein's and Isaac Newton's ideas. What really happens is the satellite planets shown in a system of stars like our solar system, the stretching of the fabric having first settled as a cone by the greater Dominion star like our sun. Since the distance between repulsive mass energies like similar planets of a similar singularity is what allows the satellite planets to repel away from the greater Dominion, our sun. This distance is certain and pressed upon as the sun pushes the Earth energetically and cushions it into the space grid of its own cone-shaped surface. This force of energy deciphered by the sun mass keeps the Earth at a specific distance is steady state, creating an elliptical path for the Earth to follow. Embedded in the space grid, the planet is arced with a tilted north and away from the sun. This tilting the planet is what causes the planet to rotate and spin, also allowing a lift to portray it in motion with the sun. M square meters. Unlike quantum mechanics, quantum physics does not explain the subatomic structures of particles or the measurements that explain the substance and energy that exist inside an atom and in all its parts, like the theory of relativity by Albert Einstein theories do. Quantum physics is a new study designed to explain a new 23rd century view, expanding new details about space, matter, and their origin at a time when mankind is discovering new ways to explore the wide-open skies. Rodney Kavetsky tries to rethink the earlier 16th century minds in modern physics and expands on what has already been accepted as the standard theory about the universe and advances the origin of space into a greater technological plane. The variables of physics measure and weigh the components of matter and space. The problem with trying to decipher the universe is that we do not know the leading components to which it ultimately began with. Physicists say the universe's beginning was formed from a cosmic egg, a dense form of matter which whereabouts were built upon by physical pressures, material components, and place of origin in which it resided is all a mystery of the least. It won't explain whether something broke or erupted that would be the cause for igniting the spark for a new form of universe cosmogony. But in either case, this cosmic embryo is believed to be the origin of which the universe was created. Physicists believe that everything formed from it, space, matter, mass, energy, and even life as a species, all began through the entanglement of a big explosion after from which the universe finally began.
Why does the universe have a speed limit? Einstein said, I don't know anybody that could write so much about light. And compared to the universe, I don't get it. Thank you.